What's it like to be in foster care? What's it like to be adopted? What's it like to be a foster brother? Today, we're gonna find out by interviewing Robert.
1, 2, 3.
Let's go. So after years of work, it is finally time for my son's black belt test. Tonight, Robert has his test and he's really nervous, but we'll let you know how it goes. So Robert had the option of doing anything he wanted to celebrate that he got his black belt. And Robert, what did you choose to do?
White Castle!
Yeah, Robert chose to get White Castle. That's the big celebration. Could have gone to any fancy restaurant in the country, chose White Castle. Here we are. So one of Robert's dreams has been to do this interview. He's talked about it for a long time. And so we thought today was a good time to give you a shot. So thank you, Robert, for coming at us today. So Robert, what was it like being in foster care?
It was very scary at first because I was just at home. I was used to the cops picking me up because I ran a lot. And a cop car just pulled up and they just took me away, pretty much no warning, no nothing. Just said, get over here. Like, they just took me away. Went to the house for a couple weeks. Then I moved to a new person, to Dad. And that is pretty scary. And it wasn't easy to be in foster care. It was very scary because I didn't know what was happening. It was like, all of a sudden I was took away from everyone I knew and loved and just put with some random dude that had a beard for some reason. I didn't know why.
Well, I didn't have a beard back then. I just had a goatee. Right?
He had a goatee, whatever.
So do you remember what it felt like when you first came into the home? Into my home?
I was scared. I was freaking out. I didn't know if I was safe. I'm like, oh shoot, what is this person gonna do to me? Are they gonna hurt me? Is he gonna hurt me? It was hard. I didn't like it. It was pretty scary.
Now when you first came, it was just supposed to be for the weekend.
Yes, it wasn't long,
and then no one ever came to pick you up.
Yeah.
And I kept calling, and finally they were supposed to take you on Wednesday or on Monday. Finally on Wednesday, I got a hold of someone. They're like, "Oh, are things going well? Well, why doesn't he just stay there?" When you found out you'd be staying with me longer, was that weird?
Yes.
Yeah, because you thought you were going back to that first home?
Yeah, they told me I was, so I felt betrayed almost.
Yeah.
And I did know my behavior worsened right there pretty bad. But I think that wasn't because I was staying for a long time longer. I think I was just so sad, scared, and angry. And betrayed.
Are you happy in our home, though?
Yes, I am definitely happy here now.
Yeah. Hey, except that I don't give you enough video games.
Yeah, he doesn't give me any video. Like, all the video games I like, he takes away from me now. So, yeah, he doesn't let me have any of the good ones anymore.
Oh, none of the good video games. What a mean dad I am.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't let me play video games.
Why would your dad do that?
'Cause he should be nice.
What's behavior like after you play video games?
Perfect.
Why are you laughing when you say that? When you were first being adopted, what was that like?
It was weird in a way because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what adopted means.
How old were you when you were first adopted? Or when you were adopted? Not that you were adopted the second time, but...
9, I think.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 9 years old. And I came to him when I was 7, almost 8. So I was only with him for a few years by that time. So
yeah, you were with me about 2 years.
2. This means I'm actually staying with him permanently. There's no going back. And I think I was pretty scared about that. But I am happy to be part of this family. And it is satisfying.
Yeah. So Robert, do you feel like your life is different than kids who haven't been in foster care?
Yeah. When you come in foster care, so just try to put yourself at first in a kid's boots. Like, I'm going to tell you mine. I was young when I was taken away. I was only 7, and I was just grabbed, like, out of nowhere. You don't have a clue. You're so freaked out. Kids are definitely been scared. If a kid didn't have any bad stuff, they wouldn't be in foster care. So, like, sometimes you could tell outside, like, they've been through hard times, like, with foster care.
Sometimes you can tell by looking at them, you mean?
Yeah, like, sometimes they have, like, scars somewhere, or maybe they have...
So they might have physical scars.
Yeah, physical. But then, most of the time, foster kids, like, most kids, if they see me, if I haven't told them, they won't even suspect I was a foster kid. They think, oh, I was, my dad is my real, like, biological dad. If you took away my layers and you looked into my heart and soul, there would be scars from the past. Every kid's gonna have their scars. Those scars are never gonna go away. You have to make sure you help them through those scars, because those scars, when you first get those, when the first kid's coming, their scars are gonna be bleeding like crazy. And
Like their inside scars.
yeah, their inside scars are gonna be just like, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna have lots of memories at the first. I still have memories, but I went for counseling, and most people will probably wouldn't want to go counseling. Like, you should definitely go. And the counselor, if you look at it, what they're trained for is literally for events like foster kids in a way. They're meant to help us, our foster kids, out with the scars. So if the kid doesn't go to counseling, it's not going to be there. And the whole point of a counselor is to help them.
Robert, I remember that you were really glad when you were adopted that you wouldn't have to follow certain of the rules from foster care anymore, or that our family wouldn't have to follow any of those rules.
Yeah.
Do you remember which rules you didn't like?
Yes, I remember them very clearly. One of the many rules, and at least back in California and here, was...
Well, you weren't in foster care here, though. You were only in foster care in
But
California.
we've had kids here.
Yeah, but you...
And some of the rules with them, most of them at least, was you had to tell the county where you're going. Like, you can't leave the county without telling them you were leaving. And I just like that. And, there's obvious reasons, like, it took time. And also, I almost felt like the county just had to know what I was doing and everywhere I was, and I do not like people, like, kind of doing that.
You felt like you were being watched by a lot of people.
Yeah, and really, to me, it was really none of the business what I was doing and where I was going. And another rule was probably that my pictures or videos, so like what we're doing here, can't be done. Like, I couldn't post it, my voice can't be on anything public, like online.
And you wanted to do YouTube videos
Yes.
for a long time.
Yeah, after watching a couple of game YouTubers and a guy named and another YouTuber, I just wanted to do it. Like, it was like I just talked about it. Like,
So that was your dream as a kid, and you weren't able to do it, right?
Yeah.
What could parents do to make foster children feel more comfortable when they're coming in? We've had a number of foster kids, and you were a foster kid. So when someone first comes into the house, they're taken away from their family. They're often scared. They're sad. They're taken to this stranger's house, knock on the door. What could we do from that point on to help make them feel more comfortable?
I think when you open the door, keep it so not the whole family's there. Like, trying to keep it so there's, like, if you're married, make sure you and the person you're doing it with is there. And, like, slowly introduce like that. And if you aren't, just make sure you're there. And if you have other people in the house, wait to introduce them later. And that's probably what I would say.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, we've had about 7 foster kids come and go in the time that you've been in this home. 7 other kids have been here. What has been good about that?
They always, like, at least 2 of them I know have went back to their families. I'm pretty sure both of them are still there. And it feels nice because I feel like God is really making a difference with me and my dad.
Do you think kids who are in foster care feel different from other kids? Do you think that maybe they feel like they stand out, or they're not the same as the other kids in their classrooms?
Definitely.
Yeah. Is that hard for those kids?
That's hard because, you're hearing all these kids squabble about, like, getting angry at their parent, like, being angry and sad about how, like, they don't have the newest watch, they don't have the newest shoes, they're not in fashion, and you're just sitting there like, what are you talking about? I've been through a bad place, and you're just going about something that I'm just grateful to have.
What can teachers and parents and other people do to help kids feel more included, to feel like they're part of groups and part of the classroom or part of the family?
I think what parents need to do is force the kid to do something straight off the bat, like, go make friends right now. That's like, so they're not like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? Like, give the kid time. I'm not saying it's gonna be like, oh, I can easily do this. It's gonna be hard for them, but they're more likely to get to know the kid. And if they're not feeling like they have to know the kid really doesn't feel like my parents want me to be friends with him. I have to.
So what have you liked about having other kids in the home?
Oh, I have more kids to talk to, people to talk to.
You like to talk?
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot.
Or the older ones you like to watch play video games
Yeah,
and
I
talk
like
to about
watching
video
them
games.
play video games, talk to them about video games, and sometimes when I was allowed to, even play video games with them. And and the younger ones, I like them because I had someone else to play with, like to have fun with.
Yeah. Now you've been really sad sometimes when kids have left, and you've also been pretty kind of, I don't want to say happy, but at least relieved, I think, when a couple kids have left. What's been hard about having kids in the home?
They have a very bad habit with my dad, since we take teenagers most of the time. They have a bad habit of not telling us anything, pretty much. Like, they give them like a little, or with one kid they actually said, no, we don't have anything about him, and they had a whole boatload of stuff that was bad. And then probably seeing the kids leave sometimes, because I get so attached to some of them. Like, I feel like I get really close, and then when I know, like the second to last one we had, right before the last one we kind of had, I got so attached to him. Like, I was kind of sad when he left. I kind of wanted to stay as a brother almost.
If there's one thing you could tell people about foster care or adoption, what is that one thing that you would want everyone to know?
You say like the dad was trying to do all he could to get the kid back, but he just couldn't. Don't yank that kid away from him. My dad, he didn't do that. He made sure I was still in touch with my dad. And that really helped me. But my dad always came back. He only missed a meeting if he was in the hospital or he just had to. If he didn't have to, he would come pretty much.
Yeah. Do you remember how often we met with your dad before he passed away? Was it every other week or once a month?
I think it was every other week because we used to see him a lot. Sometimes you don't know how long that parent's gonna stay if they've been doing bad stuff. Like, I didn't expect my dad to die that soon, but he did. And I was lied to by my mom saying he never lived, like he was dead already. So
in a way you kind of lost your dad twice, huh?
Yeah, in a way.
That's hard.
And I barely knew him. Like, I got to know him really well. It must be like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't, but... And then my dad asked me, would I wonder about him? Like, I would have wondered who he really was. And that was true. I did wonder. I wanted to know who my dad was. And I learned it. But if the parent was trying and is trying to get the kid back, and then if it's over, like, you adopted the kid, keep the kid in contact. So the kid still could be with at least someone who they kind of know, a biological parent. And now, that's not going to make it worse. Actually, I think most kids, once they get older, they're going to appreciate you more than they would if you didn't.
Well, think about the adults now who do like all the DNA tests and stuff to be connected to their past, their history, their ancestors. It's kind of the same thing, huh? Kids want to be connected to their family no matter what, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Robert, thank you for this talk, and I hope that you aren't traumatized thinking about this or talking about it. But you've been dealing with this stuff for a long time. You were adopted, 4 years ago?
I think so.
Almost 4 years ago, and so you've had a long time to think about and process some of this. Thanks for your time.
Thank you guys for having me on, and thank you, Dad, for having me on your channel. This was really nice.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Thanks.
Bye.